Welcome back. Have you ever wondered why few companies always try to differentiate themselves from their competitors while some others just try to showcase themselves as a small fish in the sea? Well, this chapter of 0 to 1 answers all your questions about that. So let's get started. All happy companies are different. This is the third chapter. The author states the business version of the contrarian question which we had encountered in previous chapters. What valuable company is nobody building? As he next explained how a company can create a lot of value but not be that valuable itself. If we take the example of a US airline, they make hundreds of $billions every year. Let's say 160, and Google, which made $50 billion in the year 2012. When we compare their profits, Google's profits turns out to be 100 times more than the airline by just taking 21% of their revenue as their profits. That's because the airline was making just a few cents on every ticket. Let's look at how he explained the concepts of monopoly and perfect competitions. Perfect competitions. This category consists of a number of companies which perform the same basic function and together meet the demands through their supplies. This situation creates a competition which forces the companies to keep up their prices according to the market, which generally yields low profit. Monopoly. Monopolistic companies create their own market as no other company threatens to capture it. They can produce at the quantity they desire and set prices which maximizes their profits. Google is an excellent example of a monopolistic firm. Capitalism and competition don't go hand in hand. The prior focuses on accumulation of capital and the latter loses the capital away to competition. If we put the takeaway lesson in one line for you, if you want to build value and capture it for a long time, don't build an undifferentiated business model. That's how we hit the first subtopic, lies people tell. To an outside observer, companies seem to be fairly similar in what they do. What I mean by this is people perceive companies to exist somewhere in the middle, but the truth is contradictory to this perception. In reality, companies lie more towards the extreme sides of perfect competitions and monopolies. This confusion arises because both categories of companies bend the truth to get their way. Let's start the second subtopic, monopoly lies. Monopolies are not appreciated in the world of economics as they are considered to degenerate equilibrium. That's the reason they have to cover themselves in a pool of lie. If they start bragging about their condition, they will be scrutinized, which in a sober state anyone would agree to be risky for the business. They exaggerate the power of their non-existent competition to maintain their huge profits. Let's consider Google. They clearly have a monopoly over the search engine market, but they don't make up for a significantly large amount of market share in advertisement and consumer tech. Framing itself as just another tech company, Google escapes the spotlight. The third subtopic, competitive lies. As monopolies have to cover themselves not to have special attention, the competitive companies have to stand out from the crowd to gain their business. Restaurant industry is competitive. When you decide to have a meal, you have plenty of delicacies to choose from. Assume you're planning to start a restaurant and you choose a delicacy no one has ventured around before. In that geographical area, you may think that you will be an entire market, but the truth is that you are part of the restaurant industry of that area. You will attempt to convince people how you are exceptional instead of giving a thought if you really are. If you lose sight of competitive reality and focus on proving your business as exceptional on biased assumption, you are unlikely to survive. The next subtopic, ruthless people. Lack of profits is not the only problem in competitive businesses. The environment pushes the people to extremes and ruthlessness. Either money can be important for your business or it can be everything. Monopolies like Google have enough profits to sustain themselves and think about their employees. But competitive businesses struggle to achieve their daily profits just enough to sustain them, which leads to exploitation of the people who work there. The final subtopic for today will be monopoly capitalism. Monopolies are definitely a good approach from a business perspective, but if we turn our focus towards the consumer's perspective, there are drawbacks. Monopolistic businesses have a tendency to maximize their profits, and their profits come out of the consumers' pockets. The world is a dynamic place where new inventions keep happening. Creative monopolies actually provide customers with new categories of abundance which aren't just good for the societies, they make them better. Governments are aware of this fact and therefore creates monopolies by granting patents and also takes them down by prosecuting antitrust cases. Should patents be issued for an invention just because someone thought about it first is a debatable question. New monopolies are dynamic, hence the existing ones cannot strangle innovation. They have to keep innovating to continue to hold their place in the market. Operating system dominance of IBM was taken by Microsoft and further theirs was snatched by Apple. It is right to oppose monopolies if they hold back growth and innovation, but history of progress is better monopoly businesses replacing incumbents. Monopolies promise high profits, which gives an incentive to innovate. The profits keep them running and enable them to make long-term plans. Economists are obsessed with perfect competition as that theory has been adapted from 19th century physics. They see businesses as interchangeable atoms and not as unique creators. A state of equilibrium is easy to model for them, but all happy companies solve a different problem: creating monopolies. Clear? Monopoly is the condition of every successful business. So I hope that answers the question we started with as to why some companies try to hide themselves and others try to differentiate themselves to the best of their abilities. So that's how we finished the third chapter of the book 0 to 1 by the billionaire author Peter Thiel. I'll meet you guys tomorrow with the fourth chapter of it. Till then, take care, see ya, goodbye.